Okay, now we can begin to move into our practice for today. Um, Whether you're a first timer or a long timer, as Claire said, we're all just showing up here and arriving. So, if you are in any way multitasking, not that there's anything wrong with that, but we do strive here to notice the inclination to engage in more than one thing at a time and to let that inclination go. And I want to invite you, whatever you need to do to be as present as possible right now to do so. And what we're going to do essentially is bring our awareness inward. And so even if you've been sitting, I want to invite you to take a moment to kind of readjust your position in your seat and now take your seat, take your place, and to notice and feel the support of the chair or whatever it is that's supporting your body right now. The floor, the chair, the seat, the sofa. If you're standing, that's fine. But just notice that you're supported right now and see if you can notice how reassuring that can be, what the impact of that awareness can be to feel like, oh, I am being supported. And see also if you can notice the support of this group, some of whom you may know and or you may not know a single soul here. And yet all of us are here to support each other, showing up at the same time, to hold this space, to hold this time in recognition that we can't do this by ourselves. We need each other. So thanks for being here. Feel that support of the community, feel the support, the physical support of your seat and the floor. And as I mentioned, we want to bring our awareness a little bit inward, away from the screen. So if that involves closing your eyes, I would encourage you to take a moment to close your eyes. If that's not comfortable, you can soften your gaze, soft focus. And if neither of those are available, just bring your attention inward into your body. And we're going to begin for just with this a few minutes of practice to let ourselves arrive and breathe together. I find it helpful to raise my shoulders and roll them back and notice that that creates a little bit more space in the front, opens the heart space, it changes things, it shifts things. And we're just going to take a few minutes here to check in with ourselves right now. How are you doing? How am I doing? That's, that's the question to ask yourself. How am I doing right now? What's happening for me right now? And to approach that question with a lot of honesty, commitment to truth, and with a lot of compassion, with a lot of kindness, a lot of love. In Hebrew, chesed. So it's a practice of chesed ve'emet, of love and truth. It's as simple as that. And take a moment to check in with your physical self, your physical body. What's true for you right now, physically? How's your body doing? And no sugarcoating it here. Just as truthfully as possible, check in and offer some compassion to any place where you're struggling in your body, some love, as if you're holding yourself with a lot of tenderness and a lot of love. And bringing that kindness to any part of your body that may feel challenging or challenged in some way right now. And then for the next minute, I want to invite us to bring our attention to our emotional life. And a question that we often don't ask ourselves, what am I feeling right now? And see if we can actually identify and name our emotions right now. For some of us, that might be really difficult. And in fact, numbness might be what we notice. or emotional inaccessibility, not really being able to tell what we're feeling. And that's an awareness right there. Oh, I don't know what I'm feeling. Or we might notice a range of feelings: gratitude, joy, guilt, anger, shame, excitement, pain, grief. Keep going. Make up your own list of emotions, your own emotion wheel, and just doing a little diagnosis here. What are the feelings that are present right now? And they might be more than one, and they might be contradictory, but they might all be true at the same time. Carry that forward from awareness of our body and how we're doing in our body, and awareness of our emotional life as an aspect of ourselves, an aspect of our spirit, our souls. And I want to invite you to check out the state of your mind right now, your mind state. I often like to think about this as the weather in the mind. And the range can be anywhere from clear skies and sunny and unlimited visibility to dense fog, storm, partly cloudy, partly sunny, mostly cloudy, mostly sunny, mostly clear with clouds on the horizon. And just again, there's no right answer here. It's just noticing in this moment what's the state of your mind. And so we move from the body to the emotions to our mind state. And finally, take a moment here, take a minute, just a minute to attend to the state of your soul, state of your spirit right now, if you prefer. How's your spirit right now? Some of us may feel very dispirited, very deflated, may feel quite distant and disconnected. Some of us may feel quite connected or and some of us may feel somewhere in between, if we're playing hide and seek with our spirit. Sometimes helpful for me to think about the spirit or the soul as a kind of pilot light that's burning inwardly, or a ner tamid, if you prefer, constantly glowing light. And just remembering that that's there also, along with everything else that's happening in the body and emotions and the mind state. That can be a helpful awareness. So we're just starting with that. See if you can hold all of those at one time. Aware that you are in a body, aware that you are having feelings right now, aware that your mind is functioning and thoughts are coming up and arriving and leaving, and aware that you have a spirit, that you have a soul, you have a pilot light that never goes out, whether you remember it or not. That's a really good start. Now I'm going to share, as we move into the theme of our practice today, I'm going to share some couple of texts. And if your eyes have been closed, I really encourage you to stay with that and just take in whatever you can take in. I'm not going to share this on the screen. So just let the words sink in as they can. There is a verse in the Torah in the book of Leviticus from what's known as the Holiness Code that says, Mipnei Seba Takum, you shall rise before the aged, Vahadarta Pene Zaken, and show deference, show glory, really, to the old. Zaken Yiraeta Me Elohecha Ani Adonai, you shall revere your God. I am the Holy One. So we have this proof text, this statement in the Torah itself that says aging is something to be honored and respected. One should rise in the presence of the aged. It's something to be valued, so much so that showing honor to the aged is akin to showing honor to God. So that's a powerful thing to consider wherever you are on the spectrum of age right now. Imagine if everyone rose to their feet when you walked in the room, just because of your stage of life, and respected and honored that. How powerful that is. And the second text is from the Mishnah, Kinim, and you'll get these sources later, so don't worry about that. One of the rabbis in the Mishnah, Rabbi Shimon ben Akashia, says, older people who are not so learned or who are ignorant, as they get older, the more their intellect gets befuddled. As it says in the book of Job, he removes the speech of people of trust and takes away the sense of the elders. But when it comes to elderly scholars, Ziknei Torah, those who attend to wisdom, that's not the case. On the contrary, the older they get, the more their mind becomes settled. It's a beautiful phrase. Datan mit yashevet, their da'at, their awareness, their mind becomes more settled as they get older. As it is said, quoting also from the same verse in Job, with the aged comes wisdom, and with length of days comes tuvuna, comes understanding, comes wisdom. So, my friends, over the next 10 minutes, we're going to sit together, and I want to invite you to absorb whatever you can absorb from those sacred teachings, one from the Torah and one from the oral Torah, as our tradition understands it, from the Mishnah, that affirms that there is no disgrace in aging. To the contrary, as we get older, in some ways we become even more worthy of honor and respect. So much so that one should stand in the presence of somebody and their life experience. And that if we devote ourselves to a life of learning and growth, intellectual, spiritual, ethical growth, then day by day, moment by moment, we actually grow in wisdom. Our minds can become more settled. We are able to access greater discernment and wisdom day by day. See if you can receive those messages from Torah and Mishnah and honor yourself. Give yourself kavod for the wisdom of your lifetime until this moment. All the struggles, all the challenges, all the beautiful moments, all your experiences from which you've gleaned insights and wisdom. And see if you can just treasure those and honor those. and be in awe of them. And let's sit together in silence for about the next 7 minutes. And if your mind trails away, just come back to your breath, if you like. Come back to the sensation of sitting in the chair or the sounds in your room. Anything that helps you anchor yourself in this present moment. It will be inevitable that the mind will drift away. Just gently and kindly bring yourself back. Come back again to honoring the wisdom of your lifetime right now. And I'll call us back when the time comes. And if your mind has drifted away, just gentle reminder here to invite it to come back to the breath, to the sensation, to the sound. Come back to this breath, this moment. Come back to honoring the hard-earned wisdom of your lifetime. last few minutes of our sit together, as we're just really a day and a half away from arriving at Shavuot, the holiday of Shavuot, and arriving at Mount Sinai to receive Torah. I invite you to consider the Torah of your life and honoring that wisdom that is part of the larger Torah of our people. That as a result of your lifetime, now is woven in and continues to be woven into the wisdom of our people. And as the Mishnah reminds us, as we connect our wisdom with the larger wisdom of our people and continue to be enlivened and revitalized by awareness of that connection, we also can honor our contribution, our particular Torah of a lifetime, and feel our mind settle a little bit with that satisfaction. And we can close, if you're comfortable, and put a hand over your heart space as a way of honoring yourself and honoring that Torah, that wisdom. And if your eyes have been closed, I want to invite you here to let them gently open together. And thank yourself for showing up today, as I thank you for showing up today. And may we all honor, and may we live in a culture that honors the wisdom of those who have the hard-earned wisdom of a lifetime, and restore the centrality of honor for the elderly, for those who have reached the latter stages of life in our Jewish community and in our world. And we'll close as we always do each day. We offer an opportunity for those of you who are mourning or observing a yard site to recite the mourner's Kaddish, or if it's your custom to do so, you're welcome to join. And if you're not reciting Kaddish, I really encourage you to just stay present for a moment to perform the mitzvah of creating a minyan of comfort for those who are. And if you're reciting Kaddish, you can put the name or names of those in your I'd like to remember in the chat now or after we recite Kaddish. And if you're reciting Kaddish, please join me by rising in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Nama, Yibrach, Yisrael, Yamit, Yamite, Chayechon, Yamechon, Chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Hagalah, Vizman Karif, Ve'imru, Amen. Shmei Rabba Mibarach, Olam Lamei Almaya, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, Yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, Yitadar, V'yitabem, Halal,
Shmei Tukudisha Baruch
Le'ela Mikol
Le'ela
Birchata
Mimiko
V'Shavata,
B'Shirata
V'chata
V'Chata
V'Nechamata,
V'Nechama
Amiram Ba'alma,
Bi'alma
Amen.
B'Amru Amen. Yehi
Shlama
Shlomo
Rabba
Rabba
Min
Min
Shamaya,
Shamaya
Chaim
Chaim
Alim B'Kol
Alim B'Kol
Yisrael,
Yisrael
Yimru,
Yimru
Amen.
Amen. Osa
Oseh
Shalom
Shalom
B'Rama
B'Ramav,
Uya Asa
Yaseh
Shalom
Shalom
Alev
Aleim,
Kol
Yaseh
Yisrael Kol
Yisrael,
Yoshvei Tevel
Yachol
Yimru
Yushnei Tevel.
Amen.
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 Amen. Friends, thanks so much for joining us today. Just a quick reminder, this is, by the way, it's day 48 of the Omer journey. We have one day to go tomorrow, and we'll be back tomorrow for our daily set. And Rabbi Josh Fagelson, our president CEO, will be leading that session to take us into Shavuot. I didn't make some announcements at the outset, but I just want to remind you that for those of you who might be interested, Josh is going to be in conversation tonight at 8 p.m. with Rabbi Karen Aviv about her book, Unlearning Jewish Anxiety. That might be a topic of interest to some of you. if you'd like to be interested in unlearning your anxiety, you might want to check that out. No charge for that. You just need to sign up to get to Zoom. So please check that out. Thanks so much to uh, to Rachel Hugood for holding our tech space and for sharing that link. And also just going to mention very quickly that not too late to join us in our year-long mindfulness-based approach to tech study. Our series are both available. We've just entered into the fourth book of the Torah, the book of Bamidbar. You can get 40% off that course if you are interested in hopping aboard not too late, and you'll get the full year's worth of teachings and practices. They're extraordinary series. So if you haven't signed up, this is a great opportunity for that. So that's it by way of announcements for IJS. I just want to thank Arnie and Sue Feldman for sponsoring our practice today in memory of Roger Meyer. Thanks so much for your generosity and for lifting up Roger's neshama, his soul. And I will, in a moment, we'll invite Claire back to talk a little bit about Dorot. I do want to share the book talk is being recorded. So if you sign up, you'll get a link, I think the next day probably, to the link to the recording. So I would encourage you to sign up for that and register. I'm going to quickly share the text. I, by design, did not want to put the text on the screen so we wouldn't get too much in our heads. But and I'll thank Rachel for sharing the link for those of you who want to download it for yourself. And I didn't share the poem at the end that I had planned to, so maybe we'll do that now. Poem that might be familiar to some of you. So these are the two texts. The one from Leviticus, which introduces one of the really a core Jewish value of honoring the elderly, mipnei seba takum, rising before the aged, showing deference to the old, and the connection with God in the holiness code. The ethical precepts are connected very closely with reverence for the divine. It's an act of reverence uh, to honor parents, to honor the elderly, and then this teaching from the Mishnah, which is it could go both ways, obviously. So it doesn't just say you get wise by getting older, but it says, it's possible not to grow in wisdom. But if we devote ourselves to a life of growth, spiritual growth, moral growth, ethical growth, the older we get, the more our minds become settled. And the more that as they become settled, we reap the benefits of chokhmah, of wisdom, and tavuna, which is the last Hebrew word in that text there. That means it's connected to the word bina, insight, wisdom, discernment. The more capable we become of that. So I thought it would be, especially since this was a Dorot set, wanted to have that as a theme of being able to notice and honor the hard-earned wisdom of a lifetime. So I also want to share this poem. Many of you may know this poem. I haven't seen it in quite a while. It's called Warning. I didn't know that it was called Warning. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple, with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals and say, we've no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells and run my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain and pick the flowers in other people's gardens and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and a pickle for a week, and hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry and pay our rent and not swear in the street and set a good example for the children, friends to dinner and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I'm old and start to wear purple. I wanted to offer that as a kind of an antidote to that idea that we get less fun as we get older. There are some rewards and some freedoms. So thanks, Rachel, for sharing the link to that. And I'll if there are any questions or comments people have about any of this, I'll be happy to respond in the chat. But meantime, let's invite my friend Claire in here. There you go.
I'm here.
Hi, Claire. Always great. Always enjoy this. Um, so I'm interested, Claire, in terms of, this theme of today of honoring the wisdom. It's almost countercultural these days. I do now. I'm at the point now when I get on the subway when occasionally someone will get up and offer me their seat, and um, I'm ambivalent about it, but that ambivalence is fading. I'm getting to the point of appreciating being recognized in some way. And curious, by the way, people can weigh in the chat about this, about how do you feel about that when, someone offers you their seat or carries something for you or, does something in recognition of reaching the
or what
second
they
half of life,
perceive
I'll
to
say.
be your later age, right?
Yes, right. We're not defining that, whatever that might be. So what is Dorot? You can say a little bit, for those who are not familiar about like what Dorot does and, how that relates to this idea of honoring the wisdom of people.
Well, Michael, who I know from Durot, just wrote in the chat, embrace your inner weirdness. So, we can think on that. So Durot was our 50th birthday is next year.
Happy birthday.
So Durot, thank you. Durot is entering its 50th year. And was founded by a group of social work graduate students who befriended their older adult neighbors and wanted to formalize their relationship and knew that there were more ways in which to build community in big and small ways across the generations. So as many of you here might know more than others, Dorot is the Hebrew word for generations, and our work continues to be grounded in intergenerational connection and in opportunities to build community in expected and unexpected ways. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we continue to have intergenerational programming. We work with college students, we work with high school students, we work with teens, we now work with B-Mitzvah students. We also have opportunities to volunteer, whether that is a package delivery. Some of you might be familiar with that. We deliver packages around the holidays, secular and the Jewish holidays. And that not only is like a package drop-off, it's an opportunity to then have either an in-person chat with somebody or to speak with them on the phone. So it's building in that opportunity for connection. We do cemetery visits, we do birthday cards, we do opportunities to connect people with technology, to have tech help and tech coaches. We do friendly visiting, which is in person, and also caring calls. I can put a link for all this stuff in the chat, but a bunch of different opportunities to volunteer. We also have a kosher meals at home program, which serves constituents. We also have social worker. I'm a social worker by training, but we have other social workers on staff who do more short-term case assistance and work directly with people. And then we have our programming, which, as I said, is on the phone, and all offered for free, or on the computer, or at our offices. We also, this might be of interesting to you in particular, we have this thing called Legacy Projects, which is an opportunity to pair you plural, with a trained volunteer or intern who can help tell your story. So often that's like a letter or a poem or like an oral history project. Those are done on Zoom or in your home if you live in a specific catchment area, and I'm happy to send information about that too. That's a way to share wisdom and also to build a relationship with someone that you might not have had the opportunity to meet and learn with and from them. That was a lot of stuff I just said.
What's to say? That's it?
That's too much, yeah.
And it's
There's
free?
more too. And it's free.
And it's free. Wow.
And it's free.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
It's really
happy birthday to Dorot. I mean, it's really a model agency. And I mean, I think to go to the question of, and I'm looking in the chat, I really appreciate some of the sharing in the chat, the range, of discomfort and self-consciousness about being recognized and appreciation for being recognized, or living. Cindy wrote, what I appreciate about South Florida is that I am seen and respected as a senior. mostly by service workers who are polite and kind. Big difference from the San Francisco Bay Area. So that's quite interesting, I think, in terms of speaking to the culture of different places and how people are seen. And I guess that's part of what I wanted to lift up today, because I know we live in such, it's a cliche, but it is, it's a youth-oriented world, culture in general, United States anyway. And it's kind of countercultural to have a value to, about rising out of respect and honor, right, for a lifetime of learning, whatever that begins. Not sure. Oh, see, DeRoche's getting cake already, it's not their birthday yet.
It's too early.
So,
It's too early.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I guess it's never too early to have cake. But yes.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But we'll have the cake now. We'll have the cake later also. It's fine.
I think it's interesting. I think this question of being recognized for one's wisdom age also has to do with ageism, and
Yes.
and I think that's tricky, right? So perhaps if your hair were a different color, Rabbi Marc, that wouldn't happen. I don't know.
Purple.
Purple.
Well,
exactly.
I'm gonna definitely wear more purple hair and purple clothing. I
And
wanted
think
to Nancy.
yeah, it's interesting.
Nancy wrote in the chat, I've known elders who seem to have grown in wisdom and some who appear not to. I wonder if that is just my inability to see their wisdom or if that's part of the teaching about ignorant people. I appreciate the guidance to honor all the struggles that have formed our lives. Maybe sometimes those struggles shut down access to wisdom. I really so appreciate that comment. I do think that's how I was understanding that Mishnah, which, otherwise could be like, well, there's Torah scholars and they grow in wisdom, and then people who are not Torah scholars, they just get more ignorant and dumber by the day, basically. So wasn't going for that. I was started saying like, it's called Zignei Torah, elders of Torah. It's really an interesting phrase. I don't know if I've ever seen it anywhere else. And to understand Torah in its broader sense, not just about like text study per se, but as living a life of devotion to growing in wisdom, which means being open to learning from the struggles. Or, as you said, Nancy, sometimes those struggles may shut down access to wisdom, or people don't necessarily aren't open to working with those struggles in order to access wisdom in some way. And that's exactly the distinction that came up for me with that text. Let's see, what else?
Well, it's Lori's birthday in a couple days.
Oh, that's what the cake was for.
Yeah, that's a very good reason for cake.
On Shavuot. Okay. Lori, I'm so sorry. I hope you got the cake.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday, Lori. I hope you have a wonderful one, and that's a great occasion to have it. And if there are any other birthdays here, please. Thanks. I stand corrected. I had not scrolled far enough down in the chat.
Again, there's never a wrong time for cake, but
No, we pretty much should have cake here every day. So, all right, Claire. As always, total pleasure and really fun, and very
really
touched
fun and very lucky. I think for me and for all of us.
Me too. All right. Well, I will not be with you folks tomorrow. I will be off, but you're in good hands with Rabbi Josh, who will be leading our sit to go into Shavuot. Can't think of a better, more appropriate person to do that tomorrow. So I will be back here next week, and I'll take the opportunity here just to wish us all a good last little trip down the river of the Omer. And I will see you all at Sinai. I only could get standing room tickets, so I will be in section 221. If any of you happen to be there, I'll look for you at Sinai at section 221, but we'll all be there. All right, everybody. Chag Sameach.
Take care, everyone.